Imagine a chef. He has one goal: to create the most magnificent soup the world has ever known. He starts with a perfect simple broth, but then a thought appears. It needs more. He adds a pinch of saffron, then paprika, then turmeric, and 5 spice powder. He reads a book on advanced seasoning and adds ground mustard. He listens to a podcast about flavor optimization and throws in liquid smoke. He keeps adding more complexity, more layers, more hacks, convinced that the perfect flavor is just one more ingredient away. Finally, he stops, exhausted. He ladles out the soup, brings it to his lips, and it's completely, utterly inedible. This chef is your mind, and for most of my life, it was my mind too. Constantly adding one more thought, one more worry, one more analysis, until there was no room left for peace. The modern world sold us a very specific solution to this problem. It told us our soup was bad because we were using the wrong ingredients. So, we bought the 5-step mental recipe. We were told to journal, to analyze every single thought, to categorize our cognitive distortions, to label our anxieties. We downloaded the apps, tracked the habits, gamified our own consciousness. We replaced one set of thoughts with another, positive affirmations. And I did it all. I lost years to this trap. I had spreadsheets for my moods. I had alarms for my gratitude practice. I was the chef, obsessively organizing his spice rack while the soup was still burning on the stove. This approach is built on a fundamental misunderstanding of the mind. It treats our internal world like a problem to be solved, an equation to be balanced, a piece of code to be debugged. But a mind isn't code, it's a climate, and you can't fix a hurricane by shouting affirmations at it. The problem was never the ingredients. The problem was the relentless, compulsive act of adding. In Japanese aesthetics, there is a concept that holds the key. It's a word that doesn't have a direct English equivalent. The word is ma. It's often translated as gap, space, or pause. But it's more than just emptiness. It's an intentional, meaningful emptiness. It's the silence between notes that gives music its rhythm. It's the unpainted part of a scroll that draws your eye to what is painted. It's the pause in a conversation that gives a statement its weight. Ma teaches that the value of things exists not just in themselves, but in the space around them. And here is the psychological breakthrough. This applies directly to our thoughts. The Western approach tries to replace bad thoughts with good ones. It's an endless war inside your own skull. The principle of Ma suggests something radically different. Don't fight the thoughts. Don't replace them. Instead, cultivate the space between them. The problem isn't the presence of anxiety or self-doubt. It's the absence of space around that anxiety. Clarity isn't a better soup. It's a bigger, quieter pot. So how do we practice this? We don't start by emptying our minds. That's like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. Instead, we start by becoming a connoisseur of the gaps that already exist. Let's call this finding the ma. The first place to look is your breath. Not the inhale, not the exhale, but that tiny, almost imperceptible pause at the very top of the inhale, and the slightly longer pause at the very bottom of the exhale. For the next 24 hours, don't try to change your breathing. Just notice these two spaces. Next, sound. Listen not for the noises around you, but for the silence that holds them. The space between one car passing and the next. The quiet hum after your refrigerator stops running. These are microscopic pockets of Ma. This isn't meditation. This is perception training. You are training your brain to value the background as much as the foreground, to find the peace, not in escaping the noise, but in appreciating the space that separates it. Once you can find the ma, the next step is to create it. This is moving from passive observer to active architect of your mental space. Start with your schedule. Look at your calendar. Find one block, even just 15 minutes, and delete it. Don't fill it with anything. That is now a ma block. It is not free time to catch up on emails. It is designated emptiness. Next, your consumption. Take one journey this week, a walk, a drive, a bus ride, and do it in silence. No podcast, no music, no audiobook. You are intentionally not adding an ingredient to that slice of time. Allow the world to be the only soundtrack. Finally, your conversations. Practice the art of the intentional pause. When someone finishes speaking, wait 2 full seconds before you reply. In that space, you are not just hearing their words, you are feeling their meaning. You are creating ma between two people. This feels unnatural at first. It feels awkward. That's how you know you're doing it right. This practice is simple, but it is not easy. Your mind, your culture, your entire biology will fight you. When you create a moment of silence, a voice will immediately try to fill it. This is the voice of productivity guilt. It will tell you that stillness is laziness, that emptiness is waste. I battled this for years. Every quiet moment felt like a personal failure. You have to recognize this voice not as a truth, but as a cultural program. The second trap is the anxiety of the void. Our brains are wired to scan for threats. An empty space can feel threatening. When you remove the noise, you might not find immediate peace. You might find the uncomfortable feelings you've been using noise to drown out. This is the critical moment. Don't run. Don't immediately fill the space again. The goal of ma isn't to feel good. It's to build the capacity to feel everything. To create enough space in your mind that even difficult emotions have room to breathe, and eventually to pass. Finally, there's social pressure. The world wants you to be instantly available, always on. Creating ma is a quiet rebellion against the cult of immediacy. We started with a chef who ruined his soup by adding too much. We've been taught to be chefs of our own minds, constantly tinkering with the recipe. We think a clearer mind is a mind with only good thoughts, but that's not clarity. That's suppression. A truly clear mind isn't empty of thoughts. It's a mind with enough space for all thoughts. Enough ma that anxiety can appear without becoming the whole weather system. Enough space that joy can be felt without the desperate need to cling to it. The ultimate goal is not to win the war in your head. It's to recognize that you are not the warrior. You are the battlefield, and your job is not to fight, but to expand the territory.